A very good morning and many thanks for joining us for Sports Splash on ABS TV. It's the Monday edition and it's the first one for the week. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. I'm Ike Nwokedi. On the show this morning, we'll tell you about what's going down at the Asaba Super Cup out there in Asaba. We'll also be talking about Victor Osimhen as he's been linked with a move to Manchester United. And Benny McCarthy has landed in Kenya for the Nairobi job. And let's also tell you that Duplantis breaks at the pole vault a world record for the 11th time, and we've got news on tennis, Formula 1, and also interview segments on the sports show. It is on Sports Splash on ABS TV. Now let's begin with our first story. Our first story is on from Asaba. Let's tell you that Fonzie, a growing digital and innovative, yes, it's a very growing digital and innovative platform offering financial services to individuals and businesses, has partnered with the Asaba Super Cup to provide ticketing services and provide a memorable fan experience through various freebies at the Asaba Super Cup 2025. And of course, fans can get the tickets for their matches for match day 2 and match day 3 of the ongoing Asaba Super Cup, and that's today being Monday the 3rd of March and Tuesday the 4th of March 2025, and the matches are expected to start by 9 a.m. at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba on match day 1, which held on Saturday the 1st of March 2025. A Young Shall Grow Football Academy held African Holding FC to a goalless draw, while Grass Runners FC peeped Ndame Football Academy by a lone goal. Defending champions Ughelli Rovers FC defeated ABC Starlet Football Academy 3-0, while the 2024 Delta State League champions Winsome FC defeated Delta Marines FC by 4 unreplied goals. Match day 2 has the following fixtures. Delta Marines will take on Grass Runners FC. Ughelli Rovers FC will take on African Holding FC rather. Ndame FA, that's Ndame Football Academy, will take on Winsome FC. ABC Starlet FA will take on Young Shall Grow FA, and the final playoffs will hold on Friday the 7th of March 2025 at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba Delta State. And Fonzie, as the case may be, bridges the gap between event organizers and of course their potential attendees, enhancing and creating a seamless experience for individuals who aim to explore and create long-lasting memories, we can tell you. And of course, like I told you, Fonzie is a growing digital and innovative platform offering financial services to individuals and businesses, and has partnered with Asaba Super Cup to provide ticketing services and provide a memorable fan experience through the various freebies at the Asaba Super Cup 2025 and currently ongoing. And that's the way it is happening at the Asaba Super Cup. Well, let's take this story. Let's tell you that, let's tell you that the Nigerian Victor Osimhen has opened up to report linking him with some of the biggest football clubs in Europe. The 25-year-old striker remains one of the top strikers in Europe, having netted 20 goals and provided 5 assists in 26 appearances for it is a Turkish giant Galatasaray this season. Victor Osimhen, who is on loan at Galatasaray from Italy's SSC Napoli, has made it known that he loves the Turkish champions when asked for reports linking him with a move to Manchester United, PSG, Chelsea, and Arsenal. And he said, to be honest, I don't know. You know, the last few months, nobody ever thought I would come here. I never believed I would come to Galatasaray, despite how big they are. He stated, I live for the moment. I don't know what will happen in the summer, but I want everybody to understand that I really love the club. He stated, Osimhen will be hoping to shrug off the injury he picked up last Monday against Fenerbahce and feature against Konyaspor on Thursday in the Turkish Super Cup. Away from that, let's tell you that a Nigerian player and the skipper of the Super Eagles, talking about Truce Ekong, is injured, but it is not serious enough to keep him out of the must-win 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Later this month, we hear Ekong has not been listed by Saudi Arabian club Al Kholoid in their last 2 league matches as a result of unspecified injuries. However, officials told the media, and of course, that he is no worry and should be fit to play for Nigeria in the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. The Super Eagles are faced at Rwanda on March 21 in Kigali, and then take on Zimbabwe 4 days later, and that's in Uyo. We pray to see Truce Ekong fit for that one. We don't want stories. It's a must-win match for us against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. The World Cup qualifiers will play Rwanda in Kigali, and then we'll come back here in Uyo to take on Zimbabwe. It's 6 points that the Super Eagles need to redeem their chances of qualifying for the World Cup. So let's take, of course, this news before we go for a break. Let's tell you that after the Kenya Football Federation revealed that they will soon unveil a new national team coach, South African legend Benny McCarthy was spotted at Nairobi airport after being linked with the job and following his brief spell as the striker coach of Manchester United between 2022 and 2024. The ex-Cape Town City and Amazulu mentor is expected to be named as the Kenyan national team coach, and then in the next couple of days we'll hear. And the same reporter mentioned that McCarthy will be joined by South African goalkeeping legend Moneb Joseph, who is expected to be named as the Kenyan national team coach, but this time the goalkeeper coach. So I expect Benny McCarthy as the new coach of the Harambee Stars of Kenya. You're watching Sports Splash on ABS TV. Let's take a short break. When we come back on the show, we'll go to the interview segment on Sports Splash. We'll be right back. It is Sports Splash on ABS TV, and we are talking about the Monday edition of the show. In the first half, we told you about Victor Osimhen. We told you about Truce Ekong. We equally told you about Fonzie, who has partnered with Delta Super Cup in Asaba to bring a memorable, fun experience for fans. Now, let's go to the interview segment on the show. Joining me this morning to talk about, of course, football management, football administration. He's also a football scout, an international scout for that matter, and he has played football at the international level. He has once played in England, but this time in the lower leagues, playing for Kettering Town, Russian Olympics, and all that. He is from Oka, of course, the administrative capital of Anambra State. He joins me on the show this morning. I'm talking about Mr. Henry Ejike Eze. Good morning. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. First, let's say, of course, you've been here before. We talked about your career, how you've had stints abroad, playing in the lower leagues for Kettering Town, Russia, Olympics, and all that. Well, let's talk about your career in the lower leagues again, and how you assess football development, a bit of your career, and then how you assess football development, looking at the Nigeria Professional Football League, the second tier NNL, where Edel and Solution FC plays, and now the NLO. How do you assess this?
Okay, like I've always said, football, there's two ways of playing football. You can play football as a profession, or you can play football as a hobby. Me, I pursue football because I love football. So playing in England was everything for me. Aspiring to play in the highest level of the game.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it didn't go as planned, but I enjoy playing in the non-league. And seeing what's happening down here in Anambra State, when I watch them play, it's kind of, football is same everywhere. The level of the game, when you're watching in the Premier League, it's just like watching these guys playing on the pitch. The level is there, the talents are there. It's just the difference is the crowd, is the atmosphere.
Okay, crowd and atmosphere.
So there is quite a small atmosphere when you're playing down here. And when you're playing in England, you have thousands of fans coming to watch you. So support is really key. It's going to be our key in our development in sports here in Anambra State, especially football. So we're looking to start getting people to come and watch the game. Because I remember when I was playing, when you know there is 5,000, 10,000 people coming to watch you, you prepare very well, not only just for the game, because you know there's going to be people watching you, your family is going to be down there, so you want to impress them. So I think the difference between our football down here and playing in England has always been the crowd, the atmosphere. So I think we'll start creating a better atmosphere for our players playing in the NFL.
MPFL, NNL, and NLO. Okay, now I want to talk about a very critical issue in football these days. It's being faced by black players, issue about racism. How do you think it can be addressed? We've often shy away from this, but I'd like to ask you, as someone that has seen it, you may have witnessed it playing in the lower leagues. I don't know if you witnessed it, but how do you think this could be nipped in the bud?
Okay, like I always say, this is why I come down here every year, trying to educate these boys about big issues, but we seem to see it as a little issue. Racism is real. It's real in football. I've witnessed it myself. I've experienced it. But one thing I try and encourage African players, my own best opinion, is that if you know about racism, there's two ways you can be racial. There is racial abuse, and there is institutional racism.
Racial abuse and institutional
racism. People like me, I'm not really worried about the racial abuse because that's just a form of abuse. Anybody can abuse you when they're trying to get advantage. If you're playing very well and they try and get advantage of trying to get into your head, some people might be shouting a racial abuse. For people like me, it doesn't affect me when you're racially abusing me. But the one that worries me most is the systematic racism, the institutional racism. Is affecting a lot of things. When I look at it, I need to explain to these boys that is a very key challenging factor in football.
Okay.
And I can point one or two issues that you're going to face when you're over there playing football. A lot of professionals, some players like Onazi, when he was playing in Turkey, he was refused. I want to make this clear. Onazi, who has played 80% of the first team in Nigeria, was refused a work permit to play for Birmingham City in the championship. It's a scary time. When we heard Onazi was coming to Birmingham, we was all happy. Harry Redknapp was the coach of Birmingham City. He loved the player. They made arrangements, they made contact with the Turkish club. Birmingham City needed this player. They want to get their man. But when Onazi applied through the FA to get a work permit, he was refused. Even the appeal was also refused. And the reason being that as of that time, Nigeria was ranked 54 in the world ranking. And then your country has to be ranked within the 50 and the below to be able to be played, to be able to be given a work permit to play football.
That's institutional racism.
It's very, very institutional. And that worries me a bit, because some of our young kids here, imagine if Onazik, who is playing in the first division in Turkey, was refused a work permit. Imagine you playing in amateur league in Nigeria. And this truth has never been told. These boys are watching Premier League week in, week out. They have the talent to play at that level, but how can they get to that level is a big, big issue. And another worrying thing is that our country need to help as well. Because we need to start giving opportunity to the players in the local leagues, in our Premier Leagues. Because some of these European countries, before you can play in the top division in their country, they want you to be able to show that you've played for your national team. And now our national team making it a little bit difficult as well for you to play in the for Nigerian national team. They want you to also show that you've played
in the Premier League,
in the top division in Europe. So it's not helping the players. And these boys, like if somebody like me would have known this when I was growing up, maybe I would have considered whether I want to be a footballer, or I want to be a lawyer, or I want to be a coach, or I want to be a referee.
So this is more like a play between the devil and the DWC.
Yes.
For you to play in the top leagues in Europe, you must have played for your national team.
Yes.
And for you to play for the national team, you must have played for the top leagues in Europe.
Yeah. So it's difficult.
That's quite funny.
It's very, very difficult.
I'm going to ask you this. In fact, that will launch me to the next question. You have this oh boy concept. That's the one boy, one ball, one youth concept. Are we going to see this? Since you talked about education, and of course bringing that knowledge to the players, are we going to see this metamorphose into maybe setting up a football academy so that it will be an opportunity to start from the scratch, to groom players, to know about all this, get to the time they will sign a professional contract, and then maybe ferry them to Europe if possible, or other top leagues in the globe?
Yes, that's the plan. That's the long-term plan of this charity program that I'm doing. That's why I'm asking people of Anambra State, I'm asking family and friends, people that are willing to invest in football. Let's join hands together. Let's join our hands together and try and start something whereby the players will be kept in a place where we can educate them, and they find the right channel for them to go to Europe. What I'm saying in long term is that if by God's grace, the funding is available, we're looking to build like a football facility, like a camp with a football, like a lecture, where we'll have a job session and we'll have a football session. And during these players will be admitted into these camps. There will be a training session where they will train on football, they will train on jobs, and there will be creation of CVs. They will be making their CV, and after making these CVs, they will be sending it to work, football. So it will be a great thing to have, whereby we can be able to also feed them and find a way of getting a transport from the camp to the training pitch. I believe somebody's done it. There was a guy called Vero in Ghana who has done a similar thing. He started like a football academy with the fund available. He was able to get players moving into Sweden in college, in schools in America. And from what I see, there's been a lot of movement from Ghana recently in football. People from Ghana moving into American MLS and other leagues in Europe. So nobody's done that quite in Nigeria, especially in Anambra State. So we're looking to set up something like that, whereby you can come in, join the charity, join the group, and they start training So it's all written down, and I believe
You can achieve that.
we can achieve that. Yeah.
Okay, talking about having that in Anambra State, yes, in Nigeria we'll have that one. If you look at what Kunle Soname is doing with Remo Stars, Beyond Limit, Remo Ladies out there. If you go to Ikene, a replica of what you talked about is exactly there. If you equally go to somewhere in Iwo local government, that's in Osun State, I think I will have a Land Lereke, a sports academy, something close to that, but you may not liken that to what we have in Remo. So we wish you all the very best, and we'll continue to see how far this can go. But would you want to, we are getting towards the closing stages of the interview segment. We'll just limit it to 2 questions now. What would you want to do different from other academies in the course of operating your own football system? And then finally, what will be your message to football stakeholders in Anambra State and lovers of sports in general?
Okay, for me, when I get into this charity, I didn't get into this charity for what I can get. I went into this charity because of what I wanted to give. I think the best thing we need to do is to start telling our youth the truth about football. We need to tell them the truth. They can't be living in a fake promises. The truth has to be said. It is difficult. 85% of what these kids are thinking is not realistic. We need to be real with them. So for me, bringing kids together is telling them exactly how I feel. Not only how I feel, what I experience as a player. It is difficult. I'm not trying, I know some of you don't want to hear this, but I'm not trying to tear you off or make you think like it's impossible. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. And you should be able to prepare knowing there is a lot of funding that is going to be involved. We need to start looking, where can we get this funding? That is where we'll start. Because I can bring players and tell them, oh, I'm bringing you in a couple of months, you'll be going to Europe. And what I can do is take whatever I can take from them. Tell them is this, is that. It's not true. I've been in a situation where players has moved from Nigeria to a foreign country and they were all dumped. And
Stranded.
the agent, they were stranded. Some of my players has been involved, but I'm telling them, no, that's not the right way. So in my charity, education will be the key.
Okay.
It will be education will be the key. The truth has to be said.
Now, your advice to football stakeholders as we jet.
My advice to the football stakeholders is that I think this is a massive industry and we all know. I'm asking people on Anambra State to come out in their numbers. Let's join hands together, even if it's like forming like a limited company where we will all come together and invest a little bit of money. If we can invest this money, get this fund together, we can start sending people to go do master's degree, go for their first degrees, footballers, and when they get there, it will be easy for them to get a work permit to play football. I think that's the right message we have to start with.
Okay, all right, Mr. Henry Ejike is a football administrator, football manager, and a scout. I would like to thank you so much for being here once again for this football education. We'll get you back here again. You have a lot to still tell us about football education and sports education in the States and beyond. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so
once again.
Thank
That's
you.
about the size of the show Sports Splash on ABS and TV this morning. Of course, it's been a very entertaining and innovative and informative Sports Splash, telling you about football development, what it is like playing football outside the shores of the country. The show continues for the rest of the weeks. Of course, join us, of course, by 9:30 to 9:55 Tuesdays down to Friday. My name is Ike Nwoked. Have a lovely week and remember to keep sporting. Bye-bye now.